Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. We review the season's best players and the best moments. Also, the expansion draft for San Diego FC is coming up. Who gets protected and who gets left out? We make a tier list. We're getting all that more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5 Star Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael. And hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving for all of you guys that are in America anyway. But before we get into all of the things that we said we were, let's give some shouts out to our Patreon fam, notably Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew, Chris, and Nick. Thank you guys so much. It's the season of thanks, and yes, absolutely, we are so grateful that you guys have stuck with us. And we're about to get into some Patreon stuff later in this episode, so definitely stick around. And especially if you want to take part in it, there will be links below into how you can do just that. But let's get into the news. It's a short one. MLS Cup final is coming up this Saturday, and so definitely going to be very interesting because it's kind of a who do you want to win less? It's New York Red Bulls versus LA Galaxy, 4 p.m. on Saturday. Honestly, it's probably LA Galaxy for me. I thank the New York Red Bulls for doing the job of, taking care of Orlando City, the Disney Kitties. But now it's your time to not win a trophy again. And so here it is, LA Galaxy for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it's LA Galaxy. I don't think it would be a travesty if Red Bull somehow were able to offset that. However, which is now out with an ACL tear, so that's a big miss for LA Galaxy. I still think that they had her and talent on the roster to clear Red Bulls. So hopefully that's what we see, because at an Eastern Conference a trophy, it cheapens the trophy that we have if we let riffraff like that in. So I feel like we need to keep them away from that. LA Galaxy needs to keep them away from that. Just throw another trophy on the pile for LA. They haven't had it in a long time, so they can have another one. Big deal for us. Be interesting what we have to say about that Atlanta for next season.
Yeah, I mean, and it is also this. LA Galaxy are going to be without Ricky Puig, and he's out with a ACL tear, and one of the most entertaining players in the league. That's definitely tough. It's hard to see that, and he will essentially be out for another year, essentially, because it basically happened at the end of the season. That's really rough, but hopefully they can pull it out. They still have Marco Royce. So it is, definitely they still have enough firepower. It's just a matter of
Peck and Painesville. Yep.
Yeah, it's just if they are still, I think maybe as lethal. We'll see. But definitely he is a big miss for them. But next bit of news. Well, Miguel Miron, he has been rumored to be leaving Newcastle United, and that's definitely going to be very interesting. Is he wanting to stick around in Europe? Can he? I mean, I think he can. It's just a matter of, is he going to be a starter? Is he going to be making maybe the wages that he expects to, since he, anytime you're a Premier League player, you're going to be making a pretty penny. And not many leagues can pay you like the Prem, but MLS can. Also Liga MX. But the great question is, will we want to bring him back? I mean, obviously Charlotte was trying to pick him up during the summer window, but for Atlanta United, if we tried to bring him back, it would be on a DP deal. He is 30. I think he's still been very productive in the sense of, from a sense of, I think from a pressing standpoint, I think from a legs standpoint, from a physicality standpoint, he has the energy levels. He has the the talent is still there. It's just a matter of the levels have been, I think, rising at Newcastle United, and so him playing on the right wing, also maybe a little bit tough. Is it going to be where Atl Utd has to move over to the left? He's not really the number 10 anymore per se. I mean, he could still probably play in that position. It would really make our attack very dynamic. Obviously, still very pacey. Good pressing from the front. And for this league, a lot of talent on the ball. But Mike, what would you do? Would you bring him back? Would you make him a DP? Would that solve our winger problems?
It would solve some problems. It would make us, like you said, dynamic for sure. He's an incredible talent. We saw what he did when he was here. We see what he does in Europe. He could probably continue to roll over teams here. I mean, it wouldn't be terrible if we had him. The thing is, there's probably a couple of things. The first thing is that was a statement, I believe, that came out, I think it was today or yesterday, that said he's looking for a new challenge. I don't know if that was specifically his words, but that's what came out in the article. And I don't consider ATL MLS a new challenge for him. Yeah. I think that's an old challenge, but so that could preclude him from coming back to MLS/ATL. But I don't know if that's indeed the truth or that's the reading of it. That's correct. But, that's not the only part. The other part is how he fits into this team. Like you said, I'm not sure that it's ideal. Why not try and find other players that can fit more what we're trying to do? Because it's kind of a mystery as to right now as to what we're going to try and do. So that kind of remains to be seen. And then how he would fit into that. And if it made sense, then maybe. But for what the players that we have right now and what we try to do, it doesn't seem to make that much sense. And I mean, in a kind of an interesting way of thinking about it, you could almost be like, well, if we brought him back, and yeah, he's going to be on a DP.
I see where you're going with this.
But what if that also means that Joseph looks back at Atlanta and goes, hey, I'll come here as a non-DP to be a backup striker just so I can be with Miguel again, like the good old times. Like, that could be an interesting way of going about it. That could be a way of getting Joseph to not want to be, necessarily the starting number 9 on a DP salary back in Atlanta. I mean, it could make sense there, but I highly doubt something like that would happen. But hey, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it's sad because it'll be 9 years later. Let's run it back. Let's get back to the glory days. But is it going to really move the needle to get us back to where we want to be, which is a title-winning club? And, with players that are on the wrong side of 30, maybe, future building, that maybe isn't the best idea as much as we would love a nostalgia trip. I think, if they were ancillary players maybe, but as being focal point players, that ship might have sailed already. And maybe, if Joseph Martinez never got injured, maybe if it was 3 years ago with Miguel Miron, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of ifs, there's a lot of maybes. I think, unfortunately, Miggy in Atlanta, yeah, I just can't see it either. It's something that I think we need to start off with egoless, less of a kind of what we've already seen, but something that can really refresh the fan base. And I think kind of in a sense make these make new fans out of people that are in the city that are maybe just getting into football, soccer, so that's it's not just straight up kind of just nostalgia city. because it's not exactly probably the most effective business plan, to be honest.
And it could also be, that Garth wants to make his own unique stamp on the team, and going back to picking up players of yesteryear kind of doesn't do that. I mean, Garth would then just be kind of getting Darren Eales' team back, or or Boca's team back, and I just feel like that's not what an ambitious general manager or a CEO like him would want to do. So that just I don't see that happening at all. But I mean, like I said, it's an interesting thought.
Right, it is. And I mean, from a standpoint of if you're the Rolling Stones, you play the hits, you keep playing the hits until you can't. But it doesn't work that way, unfortunately, in footy. So it is what it is. But that does it for the news. Very short and brief right now because, I think more news will be coming in the next, pretty much right after MLS Cup final, because there will be a lot of transfer and transactions, essentially, that will happen after that. But let's get into the season review then, because, we haven't been able to really give a kind of post-mortem to a degree of how our season went, and but we'll definitely get into some of the best wins, the best attacker, best defender, MVP, favorite moment, but as a kind of maybe just a statement on the season. I mean, the season obviously had a lot of promise, with all three DPs, with the playoff kind of run that we had last season. It started off with just a lot of positivity, but unfortunately, Gonzalo Pineda, with the very, very terrible string of results, the writing was on the wall. We had to get rid of him. And Rob Valentino, I mean, it was definitely kind of beautiful of a run at the end in the run-in, but the fact of the matter is, the regular season results after we had gotten, in terms of transferred out Thiago Almada, Yorgos Yakomakis, Caleb Wiley, it gutted the team, but we were still able to, I think, play better on the road. We, kind of solved some issues, but I think we created other hosts of problems that, it will take a roster overhaul to solve, because it is the way that we're playing. It is good for competitions, but ultimately we didn't win the prizes that we wanted to win, and we didn't hit the benchmarks that we wanted to, which was have home field advantage in the playoffs, be in a top 4 position, play protagonist football where we look like the team that is in control of the match and is most likely to win most matches, and it wasn't the case. I think this is a we had to excise maybe some of the demons that have been plaguing us, and Carlos Bocanegra was one of those as well that has marred kind of our progress for some time, unfortunately, even though he has brought in some good pieces, but I think more of the pieces did not hit. But a very mixed bag for the 2024 season, a season that brought some soaring highs as far as emotions, but also some searing lows as far as fan engagement, as far as how the fans felt for a good while of the season. So I mean, as far as a grade, I will save my grade after you go. So sum up the season for you.
Oh wow. What a season. In terms of points, it tied for the worst outside of the 2020 season, which was an incomplete one, so we're not going to really count that one. So yeah, points-wise, very poor, very bad. Didn't make our KPIs, like you said. Didn't get top 4, didn't get a home field advantage. Barely skated into playoffs. Arguably, we didn't deserve to be there. And it was kind of a fluke, and it was kind of this interesting, FEA attitude that came out of the team and Rob that stuck it out and got us some improbable, impossible results that are not really consistent and something that you can say we have like a system that works here that we can replicate for next season going forward. So, it started out, like you said, kind of hot, kind of interesting. A lot of expectations placed on the big players that we had that we thought were going to be here for a while. Thiago, not so much, but Giorgos Akamati is supposed to be a franchise player. After his, he had a kind of a rousing speech right before playing Columbus, not afraid to play the champion in their house in the first game. We actually gave them a decent fight. And in the second game, Giorgos makes a statement win by scoring a natural hat trick using the head, the right foot, and the left foot. So at that point, I was really feeling very positive about this. At a certain point, a little bit after that, the mentality of the team broke somewhere. And we're not quite sure how or why, but it seems to be at least related to what people are saying or perceiving to be Giorgos Giacomakis' attitude. Garth had comments. Fans speculate. It seems to me that once he was gone, the team was able to kind of create more camaraderie and more and they look like a family towards the end of the. But once the FEA mentality kind of said, I just am not sure any of that would be possible. Less a player like Giorgos in the locker room or something like that. At least that's what things seem to point towards. That could have been the reason why, despite having a fairly solid roster on paper, we were underperforming by a lot after the first 2 games. So it seems like you said, we exercised some demons, not just Carlos. And it looks like we're going to be doing a bit of a fire sale in terms of players as well, reloading and restocking. And I think, hopefully, with the core that has been created and really shaped and molded by against improbable odds in the playoffs, I think that core, with a combination of some new blood that comes in, I think we can start things off and we can continue, doing well and not that we fall off. That's a really big thing I'm eye out for next season. And so, yeah, I feel like this season was typified by this bizarre mental breakdown that we had. And man, we really need to find out ways of preventing that in the future, because dang, that torpedoed a very promising season for us.
Yeah, indeed. And I think your connection is, it's probably my connection, but is cutting out a little bit. So yeah, apologies for that, guys. We're gonna try to get that worked out as fast as we can. But yeah, I think we got the gist of what he said for sure. But it is this. We did have some very, very interesting moments and exciting times as well, in spite of, just really dire moments. But I think it's time to get into some of these I guess more plaudits, and let's get into best win. Which win was your favorite of this season?
I mean, it has to be. I mean, if we're talking playoffs, it's obviously, but outside of the playoffs is where I think we're going here. There's kind of two that really stuck with me. The first probably being the win away at Miami, the wildly improbable win that we had there. That was unbelievable to see. No one thought we would be able to do it. That was wild. That was insane. The second, which I think maybe some people forgot, like I mentioned earlier, Yorgos Yakimakis' natural hat trick against New England in the second game of the season. That was exciting. That was awesome. That really got me ready for, continuing the rest of the season. Unfortunately, we didn't really continue playing that season very well, but that was very exciting. So those two for me, and I think Miami is the number one.
Yeah, it wasn't exclusive to just the season, but I mean, I definitely agree with you.
I mean, we all know what the answer is. Game 2 of the playoffs. Then
exactly. Yeah, it is absolutely. That's the most fun. That is by far something that nobody expected, and at home no less. Yeah, to be able to pretty much celebrate with all of your best friends, inside basically, the cauldron that it was. It was very much reminiscent of a 2017-2018 match. It seemed like, a throwback type of win, an energy and atmosphere that we haven't had for a really long time. And yeah, it was just really a good feeling to just kind of get that back in the saddle and kind of know that, okay, we can have these big moments again. It's just a matter of if we can do it correctly, if we can have more of these moments, because it's just about roster construction. It's about how the team pretty much sets itself up so that it's marketed properly as well. And yeah, that's kind of been lacking for quite some time, obviously. But okay, let's get into best attacker. I mean, obviously not a shining year for a lot of the players, and probably our best, in terms of our DP players also, they were not part of that. So, I think this one's pretty easy, but yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Sabadiz's flowers of the season. He was not the only one. He's one of the players that never said die, never gave up, believed in the team despite everything, wanted to stick it out, showed a lot of heart, and was able to actually, made God Kings bleed, right? Like all of a sudden this guy's scoring banger after banger against Leo freaking Messi. So you know what, like that for me, absolutely. And as not a DP too, way to be a play, and we don't see this very often, unfortunately for us. Way to be a non-DP and step up a DP.
Yeah. I mean, he's the player that showed out every single game. I mean, Saba for me as well, and our leading goal scorer, leading from the front in the sense that pressing from a just dogged determination standpoint, and probably some of our best goals this season as well. I mean, yeah, he basically put together a really sterling campaign that's who it's like basically like, what if he had all the pieces around him that could his assist numbers, the balls that he would have gotten in space, in the box. I mean, yeah, left, on the right. I mean, basically, he played all the four positions, and basically produced for us as well. Was playing right wing back in the Miami series. I mean, this man, has a shout for MVP, but I think we might know that might belong to somebody else. So, yeah. Best defender. Who do you got?
Yeah, this one was a little tricky. I mean, like, best defender in terms of defense, I'd probably say Stian Gregerson. It's a close second with Williams for me. But I mean, like, if you kind of think about it, I mean, Pedro Amador is technically a defender. And
I mean, he's not technically.
in terms
he
of attacking,
is,
he's really
good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's like, oh, you're technically right. That's the best kind of right. So, yeah, like he attacks, and like in that regard, like I feel like, outside Brooks, good, like seasons ago of Jorgensen, and all of a sudden Pedro was just non-stop doing it. So I mean, like, I could see if he played a whole season for us and that was the output, I'd be like, he probably would be the MVP in terms of defense, maybe MVP of everything. But like if he keeps that clip up, that's MVP levels. So but no, I think in terms of just stalwart defense, being a leader in the back, being someone to depend upon, having speed, a gazelle, so massive, being able to get in the box. How he runs over, does his salute afterwards after he has scored a brace. It's like, that Gregerson, and I want to see a lot more of that next season.
Gotcha. Yeah. Stan Gregerson, if you couldn't hear, it was cutting out a little bit on that one as well. But yeah, I mean, that's the crazy part is Pedro Amador. He only played a third of the season, and in our playoff run, obviously, incredible. But yeah, I hear you about Stan Gregerson. I think it's Derek Williams for me because just his availability, his his doggedness in defense. He wasn't perfect, but he also held together. He was that glue of the defense because all the pieces around him were moving, essentially. Besides Brooks Lennon, who was pretty consistent in the sense that he was available to play a lot, but was he consistent in his play? I would say he definitely took a step back this year, unfortunately, and it is, I think Derek Williams was a surprise. And yeah, I mean, for a defense that didn't really ship goals, crazily, like we still had, kind of those pain points here and there where, we'll ship a few goals here and there, but largely, we maybe conceded one, and it was just a matter of us being able to score. That was the main issue. Defense wasn't necessarily the main thing that we needed to work on. We had some pieces that actually were able to, I think, keep us in games. But yeah, next thing is MVP. What do you got?
I think I'm going to say Brad Guzan. Like, his goalkeeping this season was unbelievable. It just was unbelievable. It's like a masterclass. Just keeping us in games and shutting down other teams, and just you feel the energy building from him and the momentum generated by his stops. And the fact that, like, once he stopped the ball, he'd get up and then immediately run and go, and kick it, and then he'd shoot it, and then it's just, that's the direction, that's the the directive that he's giving to the team, that attack. We just blocked them, we just defended, and now we go and hit them. And that is that like, seeing that energy and that confidence, it was refreshing, and it was amazing to see from a 40-year-old keeper, which MLS, of course, loves to remind us about. 40-year-old Brad Guzan. Like, it's like take a drink every time they say it on the broadcast. So yeah, he's the MVP for me. It's incredible. Dialing back the clock, like, the guy. I get an argument sometimes on Discord about, can he do it again? Is there a consistency here for next season? There's a lot of people are saying they're not sure. We'll take a gamble on a 40-year keeper, but I mean, I'm here. I'm ready for it. I want to see if he's here again next season with that same consistency.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fully agreed. It's Brad Guzan. I mean, other players maybe do have a shout. Saba, I think probably that's a pretty short list. That's probably it. But as far as Brad Guzan, like I think it's great points. That energy from the back, and pushing it forward in our best moments, he was really propelling us forward. And obviously the moments against Lionel Messi, against Miami, almost single-handedly winning some games sometimes, with 8-9 saves in a game. Not only that, but it's the ball at his feet, his ability to really, I think, keep us calm in the back, and in those times that we needed to exert some control on the ball. It was him that really allowed us to, kind of play it around the back as well. And some saves that is just, we've never seen him do. I mean, he made, I believe, 4 penalty saves this year, which, yeah, from the like 7 years before
He
that.
doesn't do that.
Yeah, like 7 years before that, he didn't save a penalty. And all of a sudden, he made a crap ton of, just insane saves. I mean, I don't think there's a debate. It's Brad Guzan. He's the MVP. He's the captain. He motivates the team. He motivates, I think, some fans too, in the sense that, I mean, some of these saves really can get the fans going, especially when it's an away match and you can fire up the fans when they're watching on the TV. I mean, he's doing a trick. So Brad Guzan easily MVP.
It's Brad Guzan's team.
It is. He's captain Atlanta. He has definitely earned that mantle for sure. All right. Let's end it with favorite moment. What do you got?
Favorite moment, if we're including the playoffs, it's beating Miami with the Bartosz goal. It could be that, or it could be Brad Guzan stopping Luis Suarez with like the Superman pose after that. Like, those two are pretty decisive in that game. One stopping a goal, one scoring to go ahead. So that's hard. I mean, it's fun that you have these awesome scenarios to be able to pick from in terms of favorite moment. I mean, there's got to be it, because I think probably the Bartosz one, because I mean, oh my goodness, no one saw that coming. Like, that was incredible. That the player just laying down and allowing for some open space for us to run in, and that was unbelievable. So yeah, that'll probably be mine. There's a couple others to like shout out to, but that's gonna be something I remember forever. The day that we beat Messi in a cup competition knockout scenario. That's definitely gonna stay with me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. In the sake of being different a little bit, maybe just to at least have some something else to give some flowers. I think it's the Jamal Tiare goal. It's sneaking up from behind. It's just something that we haven't seen in really decades, probably. Where I mean, it's one of those unique moments that beating Messi would make maybe top 10 on SportsCenter, but this one definitely, it made at least top 2, and it wasn't 2 for the night that happened. So yeah, the Jamal Tiare sneaky goal is just something that, on a unique experience standpoint, and it did blow the roof off. It was just insane. Like, everyone just didn't believe what they saw. Like, whether you watched on TV, whether you were in the stadium, it was just like, okay, football is about the anticipation. And from anybody that wasn't the keeper and the defense, they could see what was about to happen. And man, it's as sweet as it gets from an anticipatory standpoint, because it was just like, oh no, there's no way he's gonna what. Like, he pulled it off, and he had to finish it really well too, because he did have to take a touch. It wasn't exactly, I mean, it was somewhat of an open net, but there was a defender that was pretty close to him. I mean, he had to do everything. Like, it was completely created from just his ability to make sure that, I mean, he wasn't seen. He had to, collect the ball at the right moment when the ball was dropped. I mean, it's just, I think there were so many things about this goal that wasn't exactly easy. It's not straightforward. It's rare for a reason. And just I think a moment of madness, but a good madness. So, but guys, that's the season review. And definitely a lot of things that we went through there. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite moments are, or who you think are the best attackers, who the MVP is. But we're gonna get to a tier list of the unprotected or protected list for the expansion draft for San Diego FC, and that's coming up right now. So welcome into the Patreon stream for the tier list for the expansion draft protected list. And we have our lovely Patreon fam, of course, with Drew, with Gavin, with Nick. Welcome in, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Hello. Thanks for having us. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Yes, pleasure as always to be in your company. But yes, so we've got some tiers, as you guys can see right here. And we've got players that we will put on this list. Some of them will be easier than others, that's for sure. You can refresh yourself with some of the rules and procedures in the description below, with a link that Nick graciously added to one of our Discord channels for the people that are maybe a little uninitiated for what this draft does, what this means. But basically, San Diego FC have players that they can choose from every single team, 5 players to be exact, and essentially only one player from each team can be chosen of these 5 choices. So if we get chosen, if our player gets chosen, we only have to lose one player. So obviously this has happened to us in the past, i.e. Brandon Vasquez. That was very painful. But seeing how he flourished with FC Cincy. But essentially there can be some trades that happened before, but it cannot happen during the draft. But so you'll see all these players that we have below that Mike, when he scrolls down a little bit, you will see. We will go through this list and see who we want to protect. We have 12 players. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get quick and dirty with maybe the names that and we'll have to play around with it a little bit, because 12 basically the ones that are the top 3 essentially are the ones that we will be keeping, and so we'll have to somehow make 12 out of all this. So cool. Everyone knows what we're doing?
Sure.
Yep. Cool. Sure. Okay. All right. We'll get the hang of it. I think once we it's like we're playing a board game. It's like the more you just kind of get the gist of it, then you can know what's going on. But so I think easiest are the ones that the options are declined. Obviously, those players are not going to be even considered here. Even though I think Ronaldo Hernandez has been a player that we're going to negotiate with later on, as well as Jamal Tiare. But as far as worrying about them in this tier list, we will not. But obviously, the players that have been exercised, I think we'll go with Santiago Sosa first. There is the transfer rumor that he will be possibly moved for 4 million to Racing Club, and obviously that's why we've exercised this option. Now, the real question is, would we risk putting him, in a territory where San Diego could possibly make some money off of him? I mean, what do you guys think? Like, speak up, whoever wants him to, has a strong opinion of where he should go. But, yeah. Drew?
I
What do you
mean,
think?
I get why we could protect him, but honestly, it's not that worth it. Yeah, it's a couple $1 million that'll benefit us, but with the players we have, we'd probably fill up pretty quickly of who we would actually need to protect. And do you want to waste one of those precious 1 or 2 slots to protect maybe some of your younger or some of your fringe guys, or someone like him just to get some extra money? I say no for that. I say unprotected.
Okay. Unprotected. Okay. Anybody else agree?
I agree, because looking at his pure numbers, being a midfielders don't score a lot of goals. 63 appearances, 1 goal. And he went out 28 appearances with Racing Club, 2 goals. Not a lot for me. I wouldn't protect him, no. I know money talks, but no.
Kevin?
Yeah, I would say unprotected. Same thing, like all of what they said, but I think it's best if that rumor's true. I think Sosa personally would like to stay in Argentina. I think that would fit him better. And yeah, all of what they said, yeah, unprotected for me.
Okay. So far, yeah, I mean, we're outnumbered, Mike. So I think we're going to have to put him in unprotected so far. But do you have an opinion about Santiago Sosa?
Yeah, I think that they're mostly right with what they're saying. I feel like perhaps, if a team wants to grab him to be a starter, like San Diego, I just don't feel like that's a great move for them. I think they can do much better at that position. So if they want to take, a risk on going for him, I feel like that's not a good move on their part. So I suspect that he probably wouldn't be picked up if we left him unprotected. So I think the gamble would be leave him unprotected.
But they could make a cool 4 million by just picking him up and then basically selling him to Racing Club. So, it's...
And then be down,
I don't know.
like a U22. I don't feel like that's a good idea on their part.
Well, I mean, they sell the spot, essentially. So it is that. But I think I'm in the territory of fine if he stayed, but we're outnumbered here. Or I'm outnumbered. So, okay. Unprotected it is. Let's place his name in there, into unprotected. The old copy and paste, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind there's a clause in this that clubs do get $50,000 if a player is selected, but that's just peanuts.
Exactly.
$4 million.
Yeah.
Exactly. You get some GAM, and GAM, it's as far as Garber bucks, it allows you to play around with it a little bit more. It's not like it's not like it's equal. It's not 50,000 is not equal to the amount that we actually. It's just the cap hit essentially. But yeah, okay. Next up, Efrain Morales. He's a homegrown, so there is this rule. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's just check the old rule book just to make sure.
Yeah.
I think they're auto
Yeah,
protected.
they are exempt. Yes,
Yep.
exactly. So, and Generation Adidas as well. So, yeah, we don't have to worry about him. Okay, next up, let's go with Josh Cohen,
Ooh. Ooh.
who feels strongly
Kind of
in
a
which.
tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
I think we should protect him. I know he did not show very well at all this year. I still have faith that what we saw this season was just the bottom of the barrel for him. I saw him play in the Champions League and he played so well. That was not him last season. I would protect him because then we have to go and try to find a new backup or somebody that can fight Guzan for the starter spot. I say we put him and keep him.
Yeah. And, in previous drafts as well, as far as our protected list, we have kept Alec Can and, other keepers as well. So, it's not unprecedented. So, yeah, where would you put him? Yeah, fine if we stayed? Or,
I think you said
fine
keep
if you
him.
stayed? Is that what
Keep him.
keep him?
Yeah, keep
and
him.
Keep him. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
because you
Nick?
gotta have the age factor in here.
Yep.
Guzan is 40 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and he could get injured. I mean, you need a backup.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. Agreed. Gavin?
Yeah, we should keep him. Like Drew said, it wasn't the best season from him. We saw lots of action from him in the U.S. Open Cup and League Cup. Definitely not the best performance. I think he really screwed it up in that game against DC. That was a bad one, and he did some good things too, like that penalty shootout against Charleston. Kept us out of being embarrassed. But I mean, yeah, he's kind of mixed with him there. But I think we should give him another year. So I think we should keep him.
Okay, so we're outnumbered
Okay.
regardless, so it's gonna be in keep him.
Michael?
I was gonna say fine if he stayed, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's 3-2, so we can put him and keep him.
Right. Yeah, I think it's fine if you stayed as well. I mean, it's one of those things that's like, yeah, he is a player that I think has a lot to prove. He has shown in moments that he's good in a penalty shootout, but with his feet, I think you see the stark difference between he and Brad Guzan. It's
Oh yeah.
night and day almost. There is, yeah, a calmness and a box presence that just isn't equaled by Josh Cohen, and it's arguable that Brad Guzan was one of our best players. It could be argued that he was.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's move on to. Let's see who else we have. Well, these might be pretty easy, and let's just rifle through these because these are the easy ones. Pedro Amador.
Oh,
Keep.
protect at all costs.
Protect all.
Yes.
costs.
It's not even a question. Is that
Yeah.
even a question?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Protect him at all costs. Yeah, that's easy. I think 5 across the board there. Saba Lapshanidze. This might be a
Absolutely
little bit
keep.
more interesting.
Protect him. Yeah.
Protect at all costs.
Yeah.
Protect him.
Protect him at
Protect
all
him.
costs. Okay. All right. Let's see. Bartosz Ślisz.
And a
Protect-
deafness fell over the crowd.
Protect at all costs.
Protect at all costs. I would
Protect him at all
say.
costs.
Yeah, protect him. Yeah.
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 I was
I
worried
had
there
a
for a
debate,
second.
I had a debate
Yeah.
between keep him and protect at all costs. Like which one? Like is it okay if I say keep him, or like would I get attacked for that? Or
No. You're completely entitled to your opinion, but yeah, definitely do explain why you would maybe put him in, just keep him and not protect him at all costs. So yeah.
yeah, no, but I would protect him at all costs. Though.
All right, which one was that?
Bartosz.
That was
That was
Bartok?
Bartosz
Gotcha.
Ślisz.
Gotcha.
I mean, Mike, do you agree? Is it protect him at all costs for you, or is it keep him?
I think it's
lower?
I think it's keep him. I don't think all costs. There he is. Reading through this is like a block of text. It's really annoying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that is probably smarter that you're actually cutting and pasting, so we're not going with the same people on accident. Okay, next up, Deion Gregerson.
Well, he's a designated player.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's technically designated, so he has to be kept.
He
doesn't have to be kept.
No,
Right,
he
designated players don't have to be.
No, Bartosz Szlisz. Right, and Bartosz Szlisz is actually our only he was.
Yeah.
Now it's only Alexei Miranchuk.
Oh, they didn't.
I
Because
think we have two open slots.
I thought they did an accounting DP designation on Stien.
I thought they did too.
Yeah, I think it has changed, but
Not that it matters, 'cause DPs aren't protected.
He's a DP, yes.
Right. Yeah. Stien is a DP. Okay, great. So
I'd put him in.
there it is.
Him.
Keep him.
Keep him.
Keep him, yeah. I would put him in. Keep him too. Protect protect him at all costs is tantalizing. But I think keep him makes the most sense. All right, now where that.
But his injury record has kind of, shown that there are some questions.
Other than that, he's still a really good defender. He showed out in his first year. He's not a bad at all. I think keep him.
Yeah. Okay. Derek Williams.
I got the hot take here. Protect at all cost.
Oh.
I could see him being our next captain after Brad leaves.
All right.
Interesting.
Nick, you're up, or Gavin?
Okay.
I put him in keep him. I
Keep
mean,
him.
I couldn't go that high. I mean, he's great. He's played solid in the back. That night in New Jersey, notwithstanding, but I don't hold that against him. That was just bad luck, I put him in keep him. Yeah, that's where I would go.
Yeah, that was indeed a hot take. I can't see myself putting him that high. I think it's fine if he stayed, because I mean he's not bad, but at times he can be questionable. He's a little shaky at moments, but he's not bad. I could see him becoming our next captain, but I can't just say that. I don't think that could happen, but as of now, I think it's fine if Derek Williams stayed with us.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would put him as keep him.
All right, so we have currently right now 3. Yeah. No, Mike, the drama.
I'm sorry.
well.
There's a lot of players to get
okay.
through.
Yeah, there is. Okay, but yeah, right now, hello, Light.
Yeah, basically, he was put in all 3 so far. You have him in keep him. That's could keep him there, but
Let's see. I guess why you want to keep him there, and keep him. How many times can I say keep?
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
why do you think he should be in?
I want to keep him there. I definitely the idea is just for me just to protect him. I don't know if I want to qualify it that much in different tiers. It's just right now for me it's absolutely protect, because I don't want him being on another team, because he's a steal when it comes to the cap hit. The fact that he has captain potential, the fact that he put his life on the line with the rest of the defense, trying to keep this team alive, being part of the soul, and just a bonding adhesive of this team, and for all of that for cheap, that's the big part for me that I think other teams, specifically San Diego, any team in MLS would jump it to get a player like that, even though they literally didn't protect him in the last draft, and that's how we got him. So I feel like they see what he's done here and gone, he's a steal. So yeah, other teams would jump at it. So for me, that's a reason enough to protect him.
Yeah. And obviously it was a different type of draft, but still, either way, yeah, we did get him from a draft. Yeah, I mean, I think I would keep him. So it puts us all puts 3 in keep him. But yeah, definitely some of us think very highly of him, and
I see Drew's
he's earned
points.
some of those plaudits. Yeah, yeah, I see the appeal on how he has really solidified our defense, because I think as far as the player that was the stalwart, the guy that was in there for most of the games this season, he was there, and so, like, one of the best abilities is availability.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely, he was able to do that for us. So okay, he's in keep him, and let's move on to these are probably, these are divisive, I'm sure, but Edwin Mosquera.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Yeah.
That guy is the most streaky player I've ever seen. He'll have games where he is dominant and you see, okay, I understand why we have him, and then he just goes ghost and you forget he's on the field. It's bad. If we protect him, okay, I would rather not.
I mean, but he's that that player off the bench that can kind of change games if you need somebody that's like a bit of a super sub. But is he worth protecting?
He can't stay healthy enough to be that super sub. That's what I see.
No, I agree with
That's a
Drew.
good point. Yeah.
The thing is with me is that, like, if it's a tie game, if we're winning, like, okay, if we're losing and it comes on as a super sub, I think he does pretty well. But any other time he's on the pitch, if we're not losing, chasing the game, he's terrible. So I don't think it'd be worth. If we have him, okay. I mean, I guess that's fine. But it wouldn't hurt if someone takes him. There you go.
I mean, these types of players to me are kind of a dime a dozen. They're just pace merchants, and I'm pretty sure we can just find someone else who can do that, and probably better. So I don't have a problem with sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Yeah. That's my answer to it.
And I'm in full agreement here. It is definitely, this is the tier that he belongs in. There is this caveat.
This tier was made for him.
Human. These players are human. But
just name the tier Edwin Mosquera.
But there, as far as shade, as far as shade, this isn't really. We're not trying to bemoan and like demean these players like that in that sense. But just as a caveat, as a player, as humans, I'm sure they're great people.
Yeah, we're not making comments on their personalities and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah.
Yep, it's always like Michael Corleone says, it's strictly business.
That's right.
Exactly. So, all right. Next up, Brooks Lennon.
Protect him at all costs.
Oh, explain. I mean, he is with a shoulder injury right now, and we'll be pretty much unavailable probably.
Now let me talk
until
myself
about
down
March,
off the
April.
cliff.
Yeah.
Now keep him. I mean, he threw his body out there in the playoffs. I mean, you can't ask for more from a player than that, and it was really unfortunate that he had the injury in the first place. But putting that aside, I don't know. I'm just in the middle on him. I feel like that maybe he would have more potential with the next head coach. So I'd go with fine if he stayed for him. I'd go right in the middle.
Okay. Final
What
answer.
What an arc.
Okay.
Yeah.
You all talk me
bro.
down, okay?
Wow.
I gotta.
Yeah.
Hey.
Because, yeah. Go ahead, Drew.
Just hey, that's exactly where I was gonna put him. Fine if he stayed. I love what Brooks Lennon has done in the past. This season was really bad for him, and for the amount of money he makes, that this type of season's kind of unacceptable. Yes, he was starting to pick up toward the end of the season, then got the injury. That sucks, but I want to protect him, but if we don't and he gets taken, it's a loss, but we can find something.
Kevin.
Yeah. It's fine if he stayed. Lennon, to me, it's like kind of Atlanta United's season. Some people may think we were just trying to let the season end, put us out of our misery, but then, hey, all of a sudden, no one thought that we were going to make this Cinderella run. And he threw his body out, and some players did a lot better. Like, Ronald Hernandez, he's one of them. But Lennon, he threw his body out. That sucks. Got injured. That's not good. But at times, it's like, throughout this season, I feel like he's gotten really predictable. Like, I don't know, he's just... I love what he's done in the past. He's done some good things. He only scored 1 goal, and that was in the playoff game against Montreal, but he didn't have a good season. So, it's fine if he stayed, I would say. He's a solid player. Like Mike said, we can find a replacement for him. So it's fine if he stayed, but it wouldn't entirely kill us if he left. Although for some people, I disagree.
Yeah, I'd probably
For the
put
record,
him,
Drew did say that, I think. Yeah.
yeah. I would probably put him in. I probably put him in keep him because I think like he could probably, with a proper number 9 all season long, probably do better. It's the way we've been this season. A lot of the players had to work by committee to get things done, and there wasn't some. For most of the season, there wasn't some big guy up top that all the players were distracted by, so the other guys could do more work unimpeded. So I think that, provided we get a big-time number 9, that this opens things up for our wingers and fullbacks, so Brooks perhaps could do even better. And he seemed to have started to develop a little bit more and cook a little bit more towards the end of the season. And then he got his injury, and I don't think the injury will be long-term. I think he'll probably be all right for next season rather. So I'd put him in keep him because he's just such a prominent member of the team and someone who's been here for a long time. So that to me elevates him a little bit above fine he stayed. But if I'm looking at this exclusively as like a business decision, I'd probably be putting him in fine he stayed. But since it's 3-2 or whatever, he's in fine if he stayed.
Well, you're assuming that I'm, putting him in fine if he stayed, I guess, But I think it's this. It's that. 7 assists for a right back is fantastic. 1 goal. You're not really expecting your right back to score a whole lot, even though he does play other positions sometimes. But it is that. Like, the defensive frailties are kind of what gets us scored on a bunch. And, it's not just him, obviously, in the defense. Because on paper, from a defensive standpoint, we should be one of the best in the league. And, we're not that bad in the sense of we don't ship a ton of goals every single game.
Yeah.
But
we've only let 49 in this
season. We're looking at but if you're looking at the defensive weak spot in the defense, it's Brooks Lennon, and it's unfortunate, but that is the area that we can upgrade and still possibly, be able to get something from the attack that maybe not 7 assists, but maybe you get a little bit more dynamism. So if he did get picked, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think we've seen what Brooks Lennon in his era at Atlanta United is like. And is it part of a winning side? I don't know. So, it's okay. I think, fine if he stayed. I think is the tier. He's one of those fringe protect. And so,
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to some of the easier ones as well. Alexei Miranchuk.
Keep it all costs.
Maybe. I don't know.
Keep them
Keep
all
it all
costs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't
Mike?
want another team getting him for pretty pretty easily.
I know.
we-
for
yeah,
50K.
we-
That's
exactly.
really all it is like I don't, it's that's the biggest thing for me. I'm
Yeah.
not letting someone benefit off of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, we
You know,
spent lots of money
I
on
would
him.
say that. I would say that we've not seen his full potential yet.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we have not.
Not at all.
Yeah.
We spent
Yeah.
lots of money on
Yeah.
him. He got some goal. He had a golazo against Miami, which was huge. He had some penalty kick
Yeah.
goals. He was huge in moment. He had some shining moments, but we have not seen him at his full potential yet. So it's not necessary to just not protect him. I don't see why you would not protect him here.
Yeah.
So we should
Yeah.
protect him at all costs, especially for somebody who spent so much money on.
Unless
Right.
Cruz Azul comes
That's
asking
really what it is.
for 20 million.
Right.
Right. But that's what it is. It's the cost that we are protecting. So yeah, absolutely. That's the top tier. Okay. A little harder one, possibly. Who knows? Tristan Muyumba.
I'll go first.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we called this the Edwin Mosquera tier, but sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. He has these flashes in these games, and you just go, okay, there's the skill, there's the reason. That's what we saw last season, and it looks really good in this midfield. And then you see him again. There's no pace. There's no work ethic. He's trying all these tricks for no reason. You're just like, do I really want him on this team? And I don't think I do. Sadly.
Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Unprotected for me. He just does nothing for me.
Okay.
I mean, looking at these numbers, they're so not impressive.
All right.
I mean, I've got to judge it by the numbers.
Yeah.
In this case,
Very quantitative analysis from Nick. Gavin, how about you?
Well, I mean, yeah, numbers, right? Yeah, numbers is part of it, but it also is the impact on the team as well. So it's I understand, yeah, why you would look at it in that sense, but it is also like, does he have an impact on our midfield enough? And the answer is also no, unfortunately. But yeah.
I was about to say, if he's not memorable enough to leave a
Yeah.
lasting impression in my head, to have to go by numbers, there's your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. He's like we'll get to John Day Silva at some point, but he's kind of like he reminds me of John Day because they both peaked at like going towards the end of last season to our playoff push. Last season they looked pretty good, but this season, I mean, yeah, numbers not good, and I think Sleech has looked good. It's been a while since I looked in Atlanta United. I don't know who else is in the midfield. It's Sleech, Macari's retiring, and
Jay Fortune.
Jay Fortune.
yeah, they're all better than Tristan Muyumba. So I don't see him being here for a while. I might be wrong, but he did not have a good year, and I just I don't know. Nope.
Where are you putting him?
I said sometimes maybe good, sometimes.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what I said.
So we got 2 for sometimes and 1 for unprotected. Let's see. What am I going to do? I feel a strong pull towards the sometimes tier. But, like, I kind of almost want him to go. because I feel like the other teams would go for him, and he's a high TAM player, and I feel like we could just do better with getting another high TAM player. I'd be more excited to see a new high TAM player come in next season and be like, okay, fresh start of a new player here at this kind of vital position. Yeah, I would be really interested to see perhaps if we can find. It's just, do I want to give the front office even more work? I guess. Okay, so I'll just be hyper optimistic and also put him in unprotected.
Oh wow!
I know it's I don't know how I feel about that decision, but it's not like I'm using necessarily logic here. I'm using like a weird blind hope that we would get another team grabs him up, and we find a significantly more dynamic replacement that's just better.
Okay, so yeah, it's maximum drama right now then. So we have 2 for unprotected and 2 for sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Yeah?
What is AJ
going
to do?
All right, well, what am I going to do? I think this is it. I would absolutely dare San Diego to take Tristan Muyumba. I mean, it's just straight up. He makes too much money. Mm-hmm. And if they took him, thank you very much. It's one of these players that, is so divisive. Like, he sometimes plays better on the road than sometimes at home, but then it's just against the better teams, he gets found out. He makes rash challenges. He puts us under the cosh where it just is like, oh man, we need to take him off. Like, I don't know if we can, stay with him for the entire 90. And so I think it's unprotected. You dare San Diego FC to take him, and if and when they do, we get 50K in GAM that we could spend in a much better fashion, and instead of having to maybe dump his salary, instead of maybe having to figure out how to move on from him. So yeah, unprotected, 100%.
Wow. Yeah.
Auto record franchise before it plays a minute.
Yeah, exactly right. But okay, next up, this one's probably a little bit easier. Luis Abram.
Who wants to go first?
I say easier, but yeah.
I'll go first.
That's just maybe me.
Fine if he stayed. He's a solid center back. He makes way too much money. But
common theme.
In that back line, I don't hate him as a third center back there. I don't mind it. If he stays, okay. I wouldn't necessarily protect him. I'd keep him, leave him unprotected. But if he stays with us, I'd be happy.
Okay. Who's next?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go next.
Yes.
Yeah. It's fine if he stayed. He's a solid backup center back. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. It doesn't hurt us if they pick him up. He's a solid backup for us because I think Stian and Derek Williams are definitely a step ahead of him. He started a bit ago, and when he was at moments, it's like he's kind of like Derek Williams a little bit, but Williams is just better than him. So, I mean, overall, Abram, he's a solid backup. So it's cool if he stays. He's good for depth, but if someone takes him, it wouldn't hurt us.
Nick, you said yes.
Yes, I agree with
fine if he stayed, or
Patreons. Yeah, he's
okay.
You need depth on the bench, and this guy is depth on the bench. So there you go.
Can play multiple positions, and in a back three, in a back two, at left back. I mean, yeah, versatile. Mike, what do you think?
I want to say I want to say unprotected for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to say unprotected. He makes a lot of money for being a depth piece, and I think the fact that he goes away to Peru every time for international breaks further increases the reason why we suck so much on international breaks, and I don't think that should be. So like if we're gonna do like 3 in the back or something and then use him, then he's gonna be gone for international breaks, and if we don't play 3 in the back, then as a sub or depth piece, making that much money I think is a little ridiculous. So I think we could probably do better more strategically there if the right pieces are available. But that's a big question mark. So again, how much work do I want to give the front office this? I don't know. So but I just after I put Tristan in unprotected, I'm kind of feel like like burning it all down a bit. I kind of get a little excited for that process. So I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, it's interesting. Definitely interesting. I mean, I think it's this. It's like when he first came in, it doesn't really inspire a lot of people. And that's why Derek Williams looked so much better in comparison. But I think, his veteran presence, the dependability at the end of the season, it was there. But is it worth it for the money that he makes? And as a backup player, you maybe don't have the experience if an Efrain Morales comes in or Noah Cobb. But is he useful? Can he be useful? Yeah, you still need those type of players on the team. I would put him in sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, which leaves him unprotected. But I think, if we lose him, okay, so be it. But that would be a big risk, I think, by San Diego FC. So, basically, I think we have him in.
That's fine if we
stayed.
Yeah, 3, I think, said fine if he stayed.
So right now, let's just do a little head count. How many we have as being protected? Because we're going to probably have to move some of these guys. So we have 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. So we have 3 more players that we can protect. We'll probably move some people, to be honest.
We're going to be reclassifying.
So, yes. All right. Well, so the ones that obviously have been declined, but maybe it's on our roster. If we are negotiating, we still will need to protect them. Okay. Well, Eric Centeno, Nick Firmino, Franco Ibarra, Tyler Wolff. We're not talking to them, so. They're gone. But Ronald Hernandez is one of those guys. So, what do we think?
He's been here for a while. Yeah, he's been here for a while. I think he's solid with the position he's at right now. Like I don't see him as a starter. But it wouldn't hurt if he wasn't protected. I don't see why we protect him. Like it's fine if he goes. I think he's solid at his position, but like he did better for the playoffs. He's willing to play, but it wouldn't hurt if he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say
which tier?
Let's see here. I think it would probably be fine if he stayed.
Okay.
Oh, you would protect him?
Oh, that's protecting him? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just so you know, fine if he stayed, and up is protected, and sometimes an under is not.
I thought that was like a I thought that was like a neutral tier because I'm kind of like.
It kind of is, but it still has to be. Yeah. One or it's dichotomous.
I didn't know that, so I guess I'll go with sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Gotcha.
I guess.
Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, that's where I would put him too, because earlier in the season he definitely wasn't great, but as he got more playing time going into the playoffs, he kind of settled into the role that's best for him. He kind of played within himself and kind of didn't try to do too much and just played solid defensively. And I think that's the best case for him. And that's a good backup, but I don't really see him being necessary to protect. If we lose him, okay, that sucks. But if we keep him, I'll be very happy with that. So I put him in sometimes good, maybe sometimes maybe shit.
Thank you for labeling that right there.
Yeah.
Like that should have been no total offense, but that should have been there before we got here.
I also didn't know that was a thing, so now we know.
Yeah. I mean, just to kind of clarify that as well, because basically fine if he stays is that kind of fringe tier. So basically, if they are kept, well, they're probably the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th players. So, we'll see. But,
oh, wait, yeah. I need to put his name on there.
Nick? Very torn.
I'm fine with sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe bad. For the same reasons that Gavin and Drew said. I really can't add to that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm same tier, and also it's similar. I mean, like, he has a far less cap hit than Louis Abram does, and I think he has even more versatility than Louis Abram, but he still is a international who goes, well, I don't know if he has been every time, but like he goes almost every time for his national team. I just feel like we get punished for being good and successful as a team, and I feel like maybe we should just be a little bit more strategic with who we get. Not every guy we get has to be their number one starter for their national team for every position. It just doesn't have to be that way. So, maybe we can be a little bit more strategic about that.
Yeah, and I agree fully. This is the tier that he belongs in, but it is also, that's what's interesting. Luis Abram, Ronaldo Hernandez, they're not exactly pulling up trees. They're not exactly players that you'd be like, oh yeah, they should be starting for their national team. But I mean, it speaks to the level of their national team, unfortunately, and that's the unfortunate part is that when we do need players like him, we don't really usually have the availability, and that's what really hurts us sometimes.
And I've seen Louis Abram get friggin' stomped by USL teams way too many times now, and it's just like, even if he does go, or he doesn't go away on international break and we play like a lesser team, or we play a team that's very depleted because they have a lot of players away, I feel like Louis Abram's still gonna get run over. So it's not like he's even that good at being deployed in those situations.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fascinating. Okay, this one probably is pretty easy. Shawnee Silva.
Unprotected.
Unprotected.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, everyone unprotected. No question at all.
Outnumbered. Yeah, I mean, I think he probably belongs in more. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. But yeah, as far as like, he's not the least useful player on this team, but it is. He divides opinion for sure. He makes too much, and will definitely not produce as much as we really need him to. So, dare San Diego to take him.
Yep.
Definitely one of those players. Mike.
Yeah, and like I said, with Tristan Muyumba, they both peaked towards the end of 2023, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's what we understand is that largely what happened with him is a foot injury that persisted for most of the season and caused him to be a shadow of his former self. But I just don't, even when he was cooking up with gas, I'm not like, I'm not over the moon about him. So I feel like it's unprotected seems harsh, but at this point in time, I feel like it's okay to move on from that. I feel like a lot of fans, a lot of everyone just kind of like fire sale, burn it all down, restart. I feel like having some sacrifices in this regard is perfectly okay, and I feel like he fits that definition.
Okay. Let's keep it moving. Brad Guzan. Pretty easy, probably.
Yeah, protect him at all costs.
Yeah.
Protect at all cost. He was
Protect at all
amazing
costs.
this year.
Yeah, did incredible. Had a really good. I would say he was. Never mind. I was getting 2022 mixed up with 2023 because he was hurt all of 2022. I was gonna say because if he was hurt last year, I'd say he'd be up for comeback player of the year. But nah, he definitely had a lot better. What I was gonna say was he had a lot better year than he did the year before because he had a terrible year before. Everyone on social media is saying Guzan retire, but no matter what, he's refusing to retire and he wants to come back next season too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mike, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's earned at least another season based on the fact. I mean, he has an option, so that's a good thing. Might not pick it up, and then we'll see where we are next year. I think that's a pretty easy selection to make. And yeah, he's earned it, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the option was exercised, but I think it's also this. I mean, there is the optics of it where you want to protect your captain and you want to protect a player that gave you such a good year, but it also it's a 40-year-old keeper. And if San Diego FC wants to take him, there is this kind of mind game that you could play where you dare them to take him. And what would Brad Guzan do? Would he want to play with San Diego FC? He's from Chicago, but he has played with Chivas. He, has known SoCal a little bit. Would he welcome that challenge? Like if he was selected, if he was left unprotected, it'd be very, very fascinating. I absolutely don't think that we do it, but from a, maybe we can keep another player type of standpoint and dare them to take him. I think it'd be highly fascinating from a business standpoint. Not going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like there would be like protests outside of Mercedes-Benz, like or outside of the.
I would be in those protests.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
If we did that gamemanship and then they called our bluff and they took Brad and then it's just like, yeah, I think that would cause a ruckus.
No, nobody would be happy with that. Nobody would be happy with that at all.
Yeah.
Garth Watch would begin at that point.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Brad Guzan in the protected part of it. I think we are at 11. What is that? No, 10, huh?
10.
Yep.
10. No, 11. Right? No.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10. All right.
Yep.
Okay. So we're looking good. We're looking good so far. Okay. I don't even know if we have enough players to keep in the sense because a lot of our players are homegrowns. So, but Jamal Tiare.
Keep him. I say keep him. What he did in the back half of this season was fabulous. I know starting off he kept getting injured and everything like that, and he wasn't able to do anything, but once he caught form and caught health, he was crucial to this team as a backup striker, and that's been one of our biggest weaknesses recently is having a reliable backup striker. And he does everything you would need someone in his sort of position to do. He presses well, he can finish very well, he causes chaos and can create on his own. He is a perfect backup for this team.
Mm-hmm. Who else?
Well, given the fact that he had probably the most amazing goal of the past 3 seasons in that winner against Toronto. Putting that aside, that was a flash in the pan kind of moment. What he did against Inter Miami, Game 2, was so amazing. And those are the kind of playmakers you kind of want to protect, because he has potential just for the lightning in a bottle kind of moment. I would put him and keep him. You know, I think he's got potential. Now there is the off the field controversy we have to talk about here. Yeah, that happened within the last week of recording this. I don't know how much that factors into this or not, but it does.
Yeah. Well, it's unsubstantiated. It is, kind of alleged. It's nothing proven yet. But yes, it is. If true, if true, a very big black mark, and would affect, I think optics if it did come out, and at least to the masses, there is, it's kind of right now just in the, I wouldn't say dark web, but it is, in the other parts of the web right now that I don't think the masses know, and we're not gonna shine too much light on it because it's unsubstantiated. But if true, yes, very damning. Mm-hmm. But yes, go on.
Sorry, I don't know if I was supposed to. But sorry.
Go ahead.
This might shock y'all a little bit. I would say sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Because I say that because he had his moments. Like, he was cheeky against Toronto, that was awesome. He had great goals against Miami. He had good moments, but I just don't see him. He'd be okay for depth, but I don't see the need to protect him. I don't see that. He's a solid player. He's shown potential. That's fair. Those are fair points. But I just don't see him as that we need to protect. So I'd say he's sometimes good when he's cheeky, good goals against Miami, but sometimes he's kind of bad.
That's fair. Michael.
Yeah. I think qualitatively speaking, and Gavin's hit it on the head. I mean, he is hot and cold, extremely, and he's paid a good amount of money for a backup striker. Which, if all intents and purposes, we have a striker that is, a DP who as all DPs are expected to do, play 90% of the games in a season. I mean, we've really kind of gone away from that. It seems like with our having to rely on our depth so much these last couple seasons. I mean, normally I feel like you don't need to. So someone making that much money, and being so streaky, catching fire at the right time, of course, but who knows if that's ever going to happen again. I mean, we really have to go based on what we've seen in the season, which is mediocrity. And I'm granted, he's not going to be required to do what he did this year and step up and be essentially the starting striker, which essentially he won at a certain point. But you're expected to do a little bit more than what he did. And so I'm okay with him being unprotected in the sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit category.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we've run out of players to protect a little bit, though, too. I think we are at the wit's end a little bit. So it is this, but yeah. Gavin, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say something. I was just gonna say that also played a factor in why I wouldn't protect him, because there's no complete need to protect him, in my opinion. I would say that's because we're running out of players. So.
Yeah, for that point, I will change my vote and say sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe bad.
Boom.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, we might have to bring some players up into where we protect, because right now we don't have enough, and I think we're at the end of it, where, yeah, the homegrowns don't affect it. It's basically that's it. So we need to start bringing up some
25
players.
or younger.
Yeah, exactly, and very much
Which,
all of them are.
Looking at the list, they all are. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ashton Gordon,
So-
Jay Fortune,
Yep.
Aiden
Exactly.
Torres.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll speak for him.
Yep. So there it is. So, yeah, in terms of where Jamal Tiare maybe lands right now, yeah, I think we're
He
all
stays.
in the sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. But yeah, if we bring him up there, who's up for bringing him up there?
Fine if he stays.
Fine if he stays.
Yeah, fine if he's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because yeah, it is that he's a useful player. If San Diego FC picked him up, okay, okay, you cut your losses. But especially with any of the alleged transgressions. But if he stayed and it was not true, or hopefully all that, he's a useful player, and he has been productive at times. So I think it's not a bad spot for him to land there. Now, who else do we bring up? I think Santiago Sosa for the money, because just in case, if they take him and they make a cool $4 million, I mean, I think we can use $4 million as far as the gam that it could bring. So that's me.
I was gonna say the other option here would be Ronald Hernandez. I think Sosa or Hernandez would be our two options there. If you want the guaranteed money, you go for Sosa. If you want a good backup that can kind of be versatile for us and has played well at times for us, is Ronald Hernandez. So I'm fine with either. I would say I would prefer Ronald Hernandez as somebody to protect, but I can see the argument for Sosa.
Who else?
I'm fine with Sosa or Hernandez. I can't really make cases for the others.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't either. Yeah, Sosa or Hernandez for sure. Yeah.
If you had to pick one, I think I lean towards Ronald just because his history with the team, versatility. Santiago, I don't know where his mental state is when it comes to this team, and what his expectations would be coming back here.
Well, he would never play. He's going to be sold to Rossi.
You're definitely going. Okay. Well, if he's definitely going to be sold, then yeah, I would take him.
Yeah. I think he would like to be in Argentina more than MLS.
Yeah, like I was hinting towards. I think his eyes are elsewhere. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think it's majority anyway, I guess. So yeah, Santiago Sosa in fine if he stayed, and I think we are there at 12 players. Let's count. 4, 12. There we go.
Yep.
Boom. Alrighty.
We did it.
We've done it. Do we want to change anything?
Looks like a solid list.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I might put
I don't-
Sleesh and protect him at all costs, but that's really the only. I mean, I might put Bartok and Stien maybe and protect him at all costs, but I don't think it's necessary to split hairs there. That would be the only
No,
things I
it
guess
isn't.
I'd change.
I don't see who we swap, because
I don't think
everyone in Protect All Costs looks very protected in all costs.
And I like the symmetry in a sense
Yep.
that we've
Yep.
gotten 4 in each. Somehow, very well done from us as a collective.
Yep.
But yeah, okay. Well, I think we'll end it here then. And yeah, I mean, guys, if you guys enjoyed it, definitely in terms of if you're watching, if you want to join in on the Patreon, and you can join in on the fun. But yeah, I think we've got a pretty good list here. We'll find out who gets protected. Obviously, it's going to be next week. It's going to be December 11th, I believe. And so very soon. And yeah, if your favorite player gets picked, I mean, come back to these comments and say, yell at us and say, why did you put it out in the world? But
Those dumbasses.
I'm sorry for all you guys who love Edwin Mosquera, because I know there is a contingent out there.
there is. There
I wanna
absolutely
love him.
is. So
I want to
Yes.
love him.
Yeah.
if he was just more consistent, right? But yeah. But it
He's
is,
a good
guys. Patreon fam, Gavin, Nick, Drew, thank you so much as always. Pleasure to be in your company, and back to our regularly scheduled episode.
All right, so that was the tier list. What did you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. I mean, there's some hot takes. There were some spicy things that were said. Yeah, I mean, I for one, I think we made a good list. But, you know, I think otherwise, you know, it's tough to do as well. I mean, you know, picking these players, it's business moves. So again, hopefully, you know, if any players see it, if they don't take it personally. It's not them as a human. It's just from a performance standpoint. But yeah. But guys, yeah, that is the episode pretty much there and there, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, who's the one player you wouldn't want to lose in the expansion draft? Let us know in the comments below. Looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching all season. For Mike, I'm AJ. We love you. We'll miss you for the live streams post match, but stay tuned for all of the transfer news and the bits and bobs on this. Stay locked on the channel. Lots more coming your way. But yeah, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm AJ. That's Mike. We will see you in the next video.